I'm gonna be playing Dungeons and Dragons by myself, which is weird. It's not usually content that I usually do or make because I've been doing a Zelda run for a while now. But I saw this one night. I was watching Critical Role like highlights, and I was like, oh, how cool would it be to, play D&D with people, or even by myself, because it's always really hard to schedule things up with different people. And so I looked up like, oh, can you do like solo D&D? And lo and behold, there's this prompt that I typed in that I found online that allows you to do D&D with ChatGPT, because it automates it for you. But yeah, I'm gonna type in my character, which you can see on the right of the screen. He's going to be a mountain dwarf, level 1 rogue. It's a character I made a while back with some friends when we were trying to get D&D running. And I also show right here, it's a little dark, but I wanted to show, I'm actually re-rolling dice and playing, because I think it'd be really fun to keep it as authentic, as possible. Hopefully it's not too loud on the mic. I'll probably be changing some dice maybe to the lighter plastics versus the metal ones I have. But yeah, let me just type in everything real quick here. Okay, so I plugged in everything that I have, and it's typing out everything that is going to be like what I own and things like that. So I have a rapier, a short bow with a quiver of 20 arrows, a burglar's pack with a backpack, 1,000 ball bearings, 10 feet of string, a bell, 5 candles, a crowbar, a hammer, 10 pitons, a hooded lantern, 2 flasks of oil, 5 days rations, a tinderbox, and a water skin. I have leather armor, 2 daggers, and thieves' tools. From your background, I just have a set of common clothes, a ring, a really remnant of my family's royal status, a belt of 15 gold, and a map of the Mountain Kingdom marking important locations in the underworld. You find yourself in a dimly lit tavern, nestled deep within the underbelly of a bustling dwarven city, far from your ancestral home. The air is thick with the scent of ale and the murmurs of shady dealings. You spent years honing your skills, gathering whispers of your aunt and uncle's illicit activities. Now you have a lead, a mysterious figure known only as the Broker, rumored to be the go-between your family's usurpers and the underworld. Tonight, you are here to make contact. What do you do? I want to be on the lookout for anyone associated with the Broker. Okay. Scan the room, keeping a sharp eye out for anyone who might be connected to the Broker. The tavern is filled with dwarves, most of whom seem engrossed in their drinks or quiet conversations. A few shady characters stand out, but none seem immediately linked to the figure you're seeking. A couple of details catch your attention. A hooded figure in the corner. This person is seated alone, their face obscured by a hood. They haven't touched their drink and seem to be watching the room intently, much like you. There's a group of rough-looking dwarves. They are gathered around a table playing a game of dice. They're loud and boisterous, but you notice one of them occasionally glancing towards the entrance as if waiting for someone. And the bartender, a burly dwarf who seems to be the quiet type. He's polishing a mug, but his eyes are sharp, taking in the room with practiced ease. Would you like to approach any of these individuals, or do something else? I'm going to say 3. Meaning I'll go approach the bartender first. Because the shady character, the hooded figure in the corner, I'm guessing is someone of importance, or someone who knows something, and is like almost too obvious. And then the group of rough-looking dwarves is probably on the lookout for either another person joining, or for something going on. So the bartender's gonna be like the safest, bit. You decide to approach the bartender, sensing that his calm demeanor might hide useful information. As you walk up to the bar, he glances at you, giving you a nod as you approach. The dim light casts shadows across his face, but his eyes are sharp and observant. He doesn't say anything, waiting for you to speak. What do you say to him? I'm going to talk about wanting to work with my aunt and uncle, doing some business. The bartender raises an eyebrow slightly at your words, but his expression remains neutral. He leans in a bit closer, lowering his voice to match the tone of your request. Business with the new rollers, eh? He says quietly, his voice rough from years of tavern work. Not many dare speak of them openly. You must be looking for something somewhat specific. What's your interest in this business? His eyes narrow slightly, as if trying to gauge your intentions. You sense that he might be testing you to see if you're truly someone worth dealing with. How do you respond? So I have some items, but also some information. The bartender's eyes flicker with interest at your mention of a force rising against the new rulers. He leans even closer, lowering his voice to a near whisper. That kind of information could be very valuable indeed, he says, his tone now more serious. But you don't seem like the type to just sell secrets. You want something more, don't you? Perhaps an introduction to the right people? He pauses, glancing around to ensure no one is eavesdropping. If it's the broker you're after, you'll need to prove you're worth their time. There's a man who deals with their affairs, but he's not easy to find. You'll need to show you can handle yourself in delicate situations. He looks over, sizing you up. There's a job that needs doing, a shipment going out tonight under heavy guard. The right people might take notice if that shipment were to disappear. What do you say? The bartender waits for your response, the weight of his words hanging in the air. The bartender nods slowly, a faint smile playing on his lips. You drive a hard bargain, but that's the nature of our world, isn't it? He pauses for a moment, then continues. All right, consider the deal made. If you pull this off, I'll make sure the broker knows you're someone worth dealing with. He pulls out a small scrap of parchment from under the bar and scribbles down some details. The shipment leaves from the warehouse on the east side of town, near the docks. Midnight. It's guarded by a few hired thugs. Nothing you can't handle. Get in, take what you can, and disappear into the night. Bring the goods back here, and I'll arrange the meeting. He slides the parchment over to you, then leans back, his demeanor once again becoming that of an ordinary bartender. Good luck, stranger. Don't get yourself killed. With the details in hand, you now have a target and a plan. You have some time before the shipment leaves, time to prepare, scout the area, or even gather more information. I want to scout the area. Let's see. The warehouse is a large, sturdy stone building with only a few small windows. The main entrance is a heavy wooden door reinforced with iron bands. There's also a smaller side door that looks less fortified. The guards, 2 dwarven guards, stand at the main entrance, both armed with crossbows and wearing leather armor. They seem alert, occasionally scanning the area, but mostly focused on the main road. The surroundings. The warehouse is situated near the docks with a few other similar buildings nearby. The area is quiet with only the occasional passerby. There's a narrow alley running along the side of the warehouse, leading to the back where you notice a stack of crates and barrels, possibly part of the shipment, and then a potential access points. Besides the main and side doors, you notice one of the windows on the second floor is slightly ajar. It's small, but you could possibly squeeze through it. The crates in the back might provide a way to climb up if needed. Gather a decent amount of information about the area. Try sneak in through the side door. I like the idea of sneaking in, because I know I can't go through the guards. And the warehouse will be harder to get things out that way. Go to the window, so 4. You decide to explore the possibility of sneaking in through the second floor window. The crates stacked at the back of the warehouse provide a convenient way to climb up, and the window itself is slightly ajar, offering a potential entry point. Moving quietly, you make your way to the alley beside the warehouse, sticking into the shadows. The guards remain at their post by the main entrance, unaware of your movements. Once you reach the stack of crates, you begin your ascent. The wood creaks slightly under your weight, but you manage to climb without drawing attention. Now you find yourself standing on a narrow ledge just below the window. It's a tight fit, but with your dexterity, you feel confident you can make it. Let's see how you do on this climb and attempt to enter the window. Roll a dexterity stealth check to see if you make it inside undetected. Let's see, my stealth is my dexterity plus 8, so it's plus 8 I get on my roll. It's a D20, I believe. So let's see. I got 19 plus 8. Let me see. I don't know what that is off the top of my head. Alright, I got 27. With remarkable finesse, you manage to slip through the slightly ajar window without making a sound. Your movements are fluid and precise, and the darkness of the warehouse cloaks your presence entirely. Once inside, you find yourself on the second floor of the building, overlooking the main storage area below. What you see. The main storage area directly below you, the main floor... the main storage area. Directly below you, the main floor is filled with crates and barrels, likely the shipment you're supposed to intercept. A few torches on the walls provide dim lighting, casting long shadows across the room. Guards below. You spot 2 more guards patrolling the floor, but their attention is divided between each other and the various exits. They don't seem to be expecting trouble from above. An office. On the far side of the second floor, you notice a small office with its door slightly ajar. A faint light spills out, and you can hear the sound of someone shuffling through papers, likely a foreman or someone overseeing the shipment. From your vantage point, you can decide how best to proceed. You can take out the guards one by one, sneak into the office to gather more information, or find a way to sabotage the shipment itself. I was told to get the stuff, so I'm going to say... You quietly make your way across the second floor, keeping an eye on the guards below you as you approach the office. As you near the door, you can hear the faint sound of papers rustling and the mumbling of a voice, likely the person you intend to subdue. You position yourself near the door, taking a deep breath to steady your nerves. When you're ready, you push the door open just enough to slip inside. The room is small and cluttered with stacks of documents, maps, and a flickering oil lamp. Seated at the desk is a burly dwarf, mid-conversation with himself as he scribbles notes. He looks surprised as you enter, eyes widening in shock. Roll a dexterity, stealth check again, to see if you can catch him off guard and attempt to subdue him before he can react. I do have a lot of dexterity, so hopefully this is good. Ooh, that's a 2. It's a little rough. So 2 plus 8 is going to be 10. Yikes, that might be bad. Surprised and on guard, the dwarf shouts, "Intruder! Guards!" Ah, shit. Okay. You have the initiative since you already engaged. You can take your action first. Here are your options. Attack. You can attack the dwarf to subdue him. Use an ability. You might have skills or abilities that you can use. Try to intimidate. You could attempt to intimidate him into submission. My intimidation is only +2, so I don't know if I want to do that, but my attack isn't amazing either. I think the best thing to try to do is intimidation because my attack is as rough as it is. So I'll try 3. You decide to intimidate the dwarf into submission. Drawing on your presence and your reputation as someone who isn't afraid to get their hands dirty, you step closer, locking eyes with him. Roll an intimidation check to see how effectively you can intimidate him into a submission. Add your charisma modifier to the roll. Alright. +2. It's also with intimidations +2, so it's the same thing. Okay, that's 16. That's not so bad, actually. So 16 +2 is 18. With a confident glare and a firm stance, you deliver a chilling message to the dwarf, making it clear that you mean business. Your demeanor exudes authority and menace, and he visibly recoils, realizing he's outmatched. Dwarf's response. The dwarf's bravado crumbles as he stares at you. Yes, let's go! His hand trembling as it hovers over the dagger. All right, just don't hurt me. What do you want? His voice shakes slightly, and he seems ready to comply, clearly intimidated by your presence. You have successfully subdued him without resorting to violence. Says you can ask about the shipment, the broker, or any other information you need. Tie him up. You might want to ensure he can't raise the alarm. Check the papers. I'll say tie him up. You quickly move to tie up the dwarf, ensuring he won't be able to escape or raise the alarm. With your rogue skills, you secure his hands and feet with a length of rope you found in the office, making sure he's immobilized but comfortable enough to talk. Interrogation begins. Okay. Once he's secured, you take a step back and look him in the eye. Now let's talk. I need information about this shipment and your connection to the broker. The dwarf gulps but nods, fear evident in his eyes. All right, just don't hurt me. The shipment is meant to go out tonight. It's loaded with supplies for the new rulers. The broker, he's the one who arranged the deal, but I don't know much more than that. He pauses, clearly thinking carefully. But I've heard whispers. There's something bigger brewing, a plan to eliminate anyone who threatens the rule. If you're after the broker, you might want to check the old mine just outside of town. It's where they meet. About the shipment, details of what's included or who else was involved. About the broker, I want to know more about what the shipment is itself. You press the dwarf for more details about the shipment. What's included in the shipment? Who else is involved? He shifts uncomfortably, but responds quickly, eager to placate you. The shipment is mostly supplies, food, tools, and weapons. They're expecting it to help solidify their power in the Mountain Kingdom. But there's something else, a shipment of rare gems that were supposed to be included as payment to the broker. He leans in a bit closer, lowering his voice. I overheard them talking about how those gems could fund their operations and eliminate any opposition. If you get your hands on that shipment, you'll not only have leverage over them, but also a way to get in good with the broker. You see the realization of the potential value of this information dawning on him, and he seems increasingly anxious to share whatever else he knows. I want to know about the plans. Decide to ask about the ruler's plans. What do you know about their upcoming plans? Are they preparing for something specific? The dwarf takes a deep breath, clearly weighing his words. I've heard them talking about a gathering, some kind of event where they plan to showcase their power and the strength of their forces. They want to remind everyone that they're in charge now. He glances nervously at the door, lowering his voice further. There are rumors that they're planning to eliminate key figures who might oppose them during this event. It's all about securing their grip on power. They want to crush any dissent before it even begins. He pauses, looking at you earnestly. If you're planning to go against them, you'll need to be careful. They're not just any rulers. They've got resources, allies, and a lot of eyes watching. If you can disrupt their plans or expose their dealings, it could turn the tide. Ask about the broker, question him further for details about the gathering. He keeps looking at the door, which makes me nervous about the guards coming, or could potentially be coming. I think that's good enough. I think we have enough information for right now. I don't want to press further and get in trouble, or worse. You decide it's time to wrap up the interrogation. You've given me valuable information. I won't forget this, but for now, you're going to stay here tied up until I figure out what to do next. Dwarf nods. The dwarf nods rapidly, his eyes wide. I understand. Just don't leave me here for too long. If they found out I'm missing, I don't know what they'll do. You leave him secured in the office, making sure the door is slightly ajar, but not easily noticeable. With the new information about the shipment and the plans of the rulers, you now have a decision to make regarding your next step. Investigate the shipment itself, which is checking the main storage area for the crates and supplies and gems, scout for the guards, return to the tavern. I want to see where those gems are and what other stuff is in there. You decide to investigate the main storage area to see if you can locate the shipment and any crates that might contain the rare gems. Carefully moving back to the window, you slip out and make your way down to the main floor, keeping low to avoid detection. In the main storage area, the room is filled with crates and barrels. Stacked haphazardly, the guards are still patrolling, but they seem more engrossed in their conversation than alert to your presence. You can see a few crates marked with symbols that suggest they might contain valuable goods. You quickly scan the area for any crates that stand out. Roll a wisdom perception check to see if you can spot the specific crates that contain the gems or important supplies. Alright, let's see. Wisdom perception is +6, which is very good. So whatever I do, I have at least +6 for me. 8 + 6 equals... Oh yeah, no, yeah, that is 14. So it's not great, but... With keen eyes, you survey the crates in the storage area. Among the jumble, you spot a few that are labeled with a symbol you recognize from your earlier conversations, a gemstone with an intricate design surrounding it. Findings: crates with gemstone markings. You identify 3 crates marked with the gemstone symbol. They seem to be larger and more robust than the others, likely containing the rare gems mentioned by the dwarf. And there's some other crates. You also notice several crates that look like they might contain food and weapons, all stacked in a more disorganized fashion. Open the crates with the gemstones, investigate the other crates, or plan a distraction. I'm gonna double check on the gemstones, because I have an idea, but I don't know. Opening the crates. As you lift the lid, your heart races at the thought of what you might find inside. Inside the crate, you see several velvet pouches and small wooden boxes, each containing glimmering gemstones of various colors and sizes. The light catches the gems, and they sparkle beautifully, clearly valuable and likely worth a small fortune. Okay, so the contents are the gems. The crate contains approximately 10 pouches, each filled with different types of gems, including rubies, sapphires, and emeralds. A note tucked among the pouches is a small rolled-up note. You can't see the contents from where you are, but it could contain important information. What would you like to do? You quickly gather 4 pouches of gems, secure them in your pack. The weight is reassuring as you prepare to make your escape. After storing the gems, you carefully unroll the note you found among the pouches. Reading the note. The note is written in a hurried, scrawled handwriting. To whom it may concern, the gems within this crate are a token of goodwill for the broker. Use them wisely, as our next gathering will require significant resources. The rulers are growing restless, and any hint of the betrayal must be quashed. Keep the shipment secure. The fate of our operation depends on it. Analysis. This note indicates that the gems are not just valuable in their own right, but they are also linked to some larger scheme involving the broker and the new rulers. The mention of a gathering suggests that you might have a chance to learn more if you can get closer to that event. Next steps. With the gems secured and the note providing insight into the plans at play, you now need to decide your next move. Leave the warehouse, exit the way you came, and head back to the tavern to share what you've learned. Investigate further, check the remaining crates for additional supplies or information, plan an escape, create a distraction to deal with the guards. And we're going to plan an escape, because I want to burn it all. You decide to create a distraction to deal with the guards, ensuring a safe exit from the warehouse with your newly acquired gems. Planning the distraction. Looking around the storage area, you notice several items that could serve as useful distractions. A stack of wooden crates, if knocked over, they could create a loud crash. The oil lanterns, if you can find any way to tip one over, it would create a flicker of light and smoke. A rat, you spot a small rat scurrying around, it might be a good option to scare the guards. You knock over the crates, tip over an oil lantern, and use the rat. I want to burn everything. So I'm going to scroll back up here. 2 flasks of oil. Okay. Take one of my flasks of oil and cover some of the crates with it. Then try and tip over an oil lantern. You carefully take one of your flasks of oil and pour it over a stack of wooden crates, ensuring they're well coated. The scent of the oil fills the air, and you can already picture the chaos that will ensue. Setting up the lantern. Next, you position yourself near one of the oil lanterns, which is hanging on a post nearby. With a swift and precise motion, you tip it over, allowing the lanterns to crash against the ground. The oil spills out and ignites upon contact with the flames, creating a sudden burst of fire and smoke. The distraction. The flames flicker and grow, quickly consuming the crates covered in oil. A loud crash and crackling fire draw the attention of the guards below. They immediately shout to each other, rushing towards the source of the disturbance. "Fire! Get it under control!" one of them yells, while the other fumbles for a bucket of water nearby. With the guards distracted and chaos erupting in the storage area, you see your chance to slip out. You either return to the second floor window or find another way out. Second floor window. You quickly make your way back to the second floor window, moving stealthily to avoid detection. The crackling fire and shouting guards create enough chaos to mask your movements. Climbing down. Reaching the window, you carefully climb through, ensuring not to make any noise as you navigate the ledge. Once outside, you look down at the ground. It is a short drop, but you can easily manage it with your dexterity. Roll a dexterity acrobatics check to see how gracefully and safely you can jump down from the window ledge. Alright, let's do this. Acrobatics is +4. Ooh, I got a 7, so that makes it 11. Not great. You leap from the window ledge, landing with a solid thud on the ground below. While you manage to stay on your feet, the impact is enough to jar you slightly. Fortunately, the commotion from the guards and the fire helps cover any noise you might have made. On the ground, as you gain your balance, you quickly scan the area. The guards are still preoccupied with the fire, shouting orders and trying to douse the flames. You have a clear path ahead, leading back to the alley and out of the warehouse district. Head straight to the tavern, explore the docks, find a safe hideout. I'll go straight to the tavern. You had decided to head straight for the tavern, eager to regroup and plan your next move. You slip away from the warehouse area, moving quickly but carefully to avoid drawing attention. Returning to the tavern. As you make your way back, the familiar sounds of the bustling town greet you. You enter the tavern, the warmth and noise wrapping around you like a blanket. The atmosphere is lively with patrons chatting and a bar playing in the corner. You spot the bartender who looks up as you approach. His expression changes from casual interest to one of concern when he notices the urgency in your demeanor. You find a quiet corner and take a seat. Your pack heavy with pouches of gems. The bartender approaches, wiping his hands on a cloth. "Everything all right? You look like you've been through the ringer." You decide to share your findings with the bartender while discreetly offering him a few of the gems. You lean in closer, lowering your voice to keep your conversation private, sharing your findings. "I need to tell you something important," you say. I found out about a shipment meant for the new rulers. It includes valuable gems and supplies. There's a lot at stake here, especially with the plans they're making to eliminate anyone who might oppose them. As you speak, you subtly slide Subtly. Can I not read? Sneakily, because I can't read, you sneakily slide a few of the sparkling gems across the bar, careful to keep the gesture inconspicuous. The bartender... Oh, I can read inconspicuous, but I can't say subtly? Or subtly? Where the fuck... The bartender's eyes widen at the sight of the gems, but he quickly composes himself. His response. Wow, these are quite valuable, he whispers, glancing around to ensure no one is watching. I appreciate your discretion. If you're telling me the truth, this could change things around here. I've heard rumors about the broker, too. He's been moving in the shadows, tightening his grip. He pauses, looking thoughtful. I might know someone who can help you find out more about him, but first I need to know you can be trusted. What do you plan to do next? I'll just say, do the request help. I don't want to tell him too much about what I'm doing. Get him involved. You nod, deciding to request the bartender's help and connecting you with his contact. I'd appreciate any assistance you can provide. If you know someone who can help me get more information about the broker, could it be crucial for what I'm planning? The bartender's response. The bartender leans in closer, lowering his voice. All right. I could put you in touch with a friend of mine, a half-elf named Elira. She knows the underbelly of this town better than anyone and has connections that might lead you to the broker. She often hangs out at the Whispering Willow, a tavern on the east side of town. She's a bit quieter. It's a bit quieter than this place, but it attracts the right crowd. He glances around the tavern before continuing. I can send her a message and let her know you're coming, but be careful, the broker has eyes everywhere. If they catch wind of your inquiries, it could spell trouble. Head to the Whispering Willow, wait for the bartender's message. I want to know more about this Elira woman. Also, elf woman? Yes! You decide to gather more information before heading out. Can you tell me more about Elira and the broker? What should I know before I meet her? The bartender's insight. The bartender nods, clearly eager to share what he knows. While Elira is sharp and resourceful, she's been around for a while and knows how to navigate the treacherous waters of the underground. She'll ask questions, so be ready to prove you're not just another wannabe. She's also not afraid to speak her mind. Alright, so this cover story I'm making has to be pretty solid. He leans in, lowering his voice further. As for the broker, he's a shadowy figure. No one knows his true identity, and he's got connections that run deep. Guards, merchants, even some nobles. He's been playing both sides, feeding information to the new rulers while also keeping the old power players in check. If you can get to him, you might find a way to turn the tide. He looks around, making sure no one is listening. But be careful, many have tried to confront him and failed. If you're thinking of going after him, you'll need a solid plan. The idea I'm going with is more, sneaking around and kind of tricking him into the idea of like, oh, this is someone who can be useful for the operations, but really I'm just kind of trying to ruin everything. Final preparations. After gathering this information, you feel more prepared to meet Elira and dig deeper into the broker's operations. I have fine gear. The gems I don't want to keep for too long because I have 4. I have 3.5 now. I'm gonna head to meet Elira. With the bartender's insights fresh in your mind, you decide to head to the Whispering Willow to meet Elira. You thank the bartender for his help and slip out of the tavern, making your way through the bustling streets of the town. Arriving at the Whispering Willow. The Whispering Willow is a quaint tavern located on a quieter street decorated with soft lantern light and the gentle rustling of willow branches outside. As you enter, the atmosphere is more subdued compared to the lively tavern you just left. Patrons speak in hushed tones, and a soft melody plays from a bard in the corner. You scan the room looking for Elira. After a moment, you spot a half-elf sitting at a table near the back, her features sharp and keen. She has an air of confidence about her, and she seems to be observing the room carefully. As you walk over, she looks up and raises an eyebrow, assessing you. You must be the one the bartender mentioned. I hope you're not here to waste my time, she says, her tone direct but not unkind. What would you like to say? Introduce yourself, share your name and your purpose for seeking her out, get straight to business, briefly explain what you know about the broker and your interest in him, and ask for information. Oh boy. No, I'll introduce myself. You decide to introduce yourself to Elira, wanting to establish a rapport before diving into business at hand. You take a seat across from her and offer a confident smile. My name is Gruff Boulderback. and I've been looking into the activities surrounding the broker. I heard you might have some valuable information that could help me navigate this treacherous situation. Elira studies you for a moment, her expression shifting to one of mild interest. All right, Gruff. I appreciate your straightforwardness. The broker is a dangerous player in this game, and many have fallen victim to his schemes. What specifically do you want to know? Details about the broker, upcoming gatherings, and allies and enemies. It'd be upcoming meetings, because I want to try to intercept. You decide to inquire about any upcoming gatherings involving the broker or the rulers. Do you know of any events or gatherings planned in the near future that might involve the broker or the new rulers? Elira's response. Elira leans back slightly, considering your question. Yes, there's a significant event coming up. The new rulers are hosting a lavish banquet to celebrate their recent power consolidation? Words. It's meant to showcase their strength and rally support among the influential figures in town. Word has it that the broker will be in attendance, as he's always looking to maintain his connections and influence. She looks you in the eye, and her tone serious. This is your chance. If you can get close to him at the banquet, you might be able to gather valuable information or even confront him. But be warned, there will be guards and other eyes watching. You'll need to have a solid plan to navigate the political waters. Yeah, I want to know about who is going to be there. If there's anyone I can use. You decide to ask Elira and about the guest list for the upcoming banquet. Do you know who will be attending? Any key figures or potential allies I should be aware of? Elira nods, her expression turning thoughtful. The guest list is quite exclusive, but I have some information on a few notable attendees. There's the rulers, of course the new rulers will be present, including the lord and lady who have taken control of the Mountain Kingdom. The broker, he's expected to make an appearance, though his presence is often shrouded in secrecy. There's noble families. Several influential noble families will be there, including the Iron Fists and the Stonehearts. Both families have a vested interest in maintaining their power and might be useful allies or dangerous enemies, depending on how you approach them. Merchant guild leaders. Key figures from the local merchant guilds will also be in attendance, as they are looking to curry favor with the new rulers. If you can find a way to engage with any of these individuals, it could open doors for you. I'll want to know more about the noble families. You decide to inquire further about the noble families, particularly the Iron Fists and Stonehearts. Can you tell me more about the Iron Fists and Stonehearts? What are their interests and how might they react to someone like me? Her insights. Elira leans in, her tone serious as she shares what she knows. Both families are powerful in their own right, and their interests often align with maintaining their influence over the Mountain Kingdom. The Iron Fists, for example, known for their military prowess, the Iron Fists have a long history of producing skilled warriors. They value strength and loyalty, and their patriarch is a fierce supporter of the new rulers. They might see you as a potential ally if you can prove your worth in battle or negotiations, but tread carefully, they don't take kindly to betrayal. Which would be good, because technically the new rulers betrayed my family, who these two families should be loyal to the most, but I digress. The Stonehearts. This family is known for their shrewdness in trade and commerce. They're wealthy and influential in the merchant circles. Their matriarch is a savvy negotiator and always looking for profitable deals. If you can impress her with your knowledge or resources, she might be willing to support your ambitions. However, they are also quick to turn against anyone who poses a threat to their interests. Both families could be powerful allies or formidable foes, depending on how you approach them. Is there anyone else I could talk into? Elira nods, appreciating your caution. Yes, there are other notable figures you might want to consider. There's Captain Thaela Greystorm. She's the captain of the city guard and has a reputation for being both fair and tough. If you can earn her trust, she could be a powerful ally ensuring your safety, especially if things get tense at the banquet. She values loyalty and will not tolerate betrayal. I'm kind of noticing a theme here, but there's Lord Edrin Silverstone, a charismatic noble with a flair for diplomacy. Lord Silverstone often acts as a mediator between families. He has connections to many powerful figures and could help you navigate the political landscape if he sees potential in you. There's Sister Maris, a cleric associated with the local temple. Sister Maris has influence over the common folk. She is respected and trusted, and if you can gain her favor, it could help sway public opinion in your direction. And lastly, there's Ryan the Bard, a well-known bard who performs at various events. Ryan is a master of stories and rumors. If you can impress him, he might use his influence to spread word of your deeds or help or to help you gather information. Oy boy, that's a lot. Because with each of these, especially like Ryan and Sister, if I plant in the idea that there's like some family members gathering forces to attack the royal families, that will distract them from focusing on me and what I'm going to be trying to do the whole time. But we'll have to see. I want to discuss the whole plan altogether. You decide to discuss your overall strategy for the banquet with Elira. I'd like to plan my approach for the event. Given the influential figures attending, how should I navigate this gathering to gather information and make connections? Elira leans back in her chair, considering the best way for you to maneuver through the event. Here are a few strategies you might consider. Blend in, dress in attire that reflects the nobility or merchant class, so you don't draw attention as an outsider. If you can appear to be part of the crowd, you'll have an easier time mingling with different guests. Start with small talk. Approach less intimidating figures. First, like Lord Edrin Silverstone or Ryan the Bard. They're more likely to engage in conversation, and you can gauge the atmosphere at the banquet. Gather information, pay attention to the conversations around you, look for hints or rumors about the broker or any plans the rulers might have. Eavesdropping can be quite revealing. Pick your targets. Identify key figures you want to approach and plan your conversation topics. For example, if you talk to Captain Thalia Greystorm, you could discuss your shared interest in maintaining order in the kingdom. Be cautious, remember that the broker will likely be watching, stay alert, and don't reveal too much about your intentions until you're sure of who you can trust. 1 and 2. You decide to ask Elira for assistance for the disguise and also inquire about the banquet details. Can you help me obtain a suitable disguise for the event? Also, when and where is the banquet taking place? Elira nods, clearly willing to help. I can help you with both. For the disguise, I have a few contacts who can provide you with suitable clothing that will help you blend in with the nobility or merchant class. You want something elegant but not overly ostentatious. Again, subtly, whatever that word was, but I can say ostentatious. I don't understand my brain sometimes. She continues that banquet is scheduled for this upcoming evening at the Grand Hall of the Silverstone Manor. Oh. It's a well-known location, decorated with fine tapestries, and renowned for its hosting important gatherings. The doors will open at sunset and is expected to be a lavish affair, so make sure to arrive on time to avoid standing out. Then simply preparing for the event, Elira stands and gestures for you to follow her. Let's get you set up with a disguise, and I'll see if I can arrange a few last-minute details to ensure you're ready for the evening. As you leave the tavern, Elira leads you through the series of back alleys to a small tailor shop. The tailor, a nervous-looking gnome, looks up as you enter. Inside the tailor shop, Elira introduces you. This is Merrick, my friend. He specializes in creating disguises for those who need to remain incognito. Let's talk about my look. You turn to Merrick, the nervous-looking gnome tailor, and explain that what you're aiming for in your disguise. I need something suitable for a noble gathering, elegant yet understated. I want to blend in with the attendees, but not draw too much attention to myself. Merrick nods enthusiastically, his hands twitching with excitement. I can definitely help you with that. Let's see, we want to avoid anything too flashy while still showcasing your status. Which I said. How about a finely tailored tunic made from rich fabrics, complemented with a cloak for a touch of sophistication? He begins rummaging through his fabrics, holding up different options. We have dark greens, deep blues, or classic blacks. Each would give off a sense of elegance without making you stand out too much. I'll go with a dark green color. What accessories would you recommend to help me blend in more effectively? Merrick's eyes brighten at your choice. Excellent choice. Dark green will look striking without drawing too much attention. For accessories, here are a few ideas. There's the cloak, which is the matching dark green cloak to add an air of mystery and elegance. It is also practical for hiding any weapons or tools you might carry. Jewelry, a mask, and a small satchel. Decorative satchel could be useful carrying any small items or notes without looking suspicious. A mask. I'll do 2, 3, and 4. You decide to enhance your disguise by choosing jewelry, a mask, and a small satchel. I like to include a piece of jewelry, a suitable half mask, and a small satchel in my outfit. Merrick nods enthusiastically. Great choices. Let me see what I have available. He quickly rummages through his collection, presenting you with a few options. A silver brooch and a simple silver brooch shaped like a leaf, understated yet elegant. A gold ring, modest gold ring with a small emerald, perfect for showcasing a bit of wealth without being overly extravagant. I'll wear my own ring. Take the black half mask and the decorative fabric satchel. Merrick nods approvingly. Excellent choices. The black half mask will add a touch of mystery to your disguise, while the decorative fabric satchel will complement your outfit beautifully. Let me finish tailoring your dark green tunic and cloak. I didn't think I got a cloak. Oh well. As he works, you take a moment to consider your next steps. After a while, Merrick presents you with the complemented outfit, expertly crafted and ready for the banquet. You now stand before a mirror dressed in your dark green tunic and cloak, that black half mask and resting on your face, and the decorative satchel slung over your shoulder. You feel confident and ready to navigate the evening ahead. Let's go over the strategy for the banquet and see if there's anything else I might need. Alara nods, appreciating your diligence. Alright, let's break it down. Here's what I suggest. Arrive early. Get to the Grand Hall before the doors officially open to get a sense of the atmosphere and observe the guests as they arrive. This will help you identify potential allies or threats. Approach the less intimidating figures first. Start with someone like Lord Edrin Silverstone or Ryan the Bard. Engage with them in conversation to learn more about the event and the other attendees. Make sure to be observant. Keep an ear out open for discussions about the broker or any plans that may be relevant to your goals. Use your keen insight to read the room. Don't rush. Take your time with conversations and don't reveal too much about your intentions too quickly. Build trust gradually. Have an escape plan. Always be aware of your surroundings. If things start to turn south, have a route planned for a discreet exit. After discussing the plan, you consider what additional supplies you might need for the banquet. You could think of a few items, a few throwing daggers or other weapons for self-defense, a small notebook and writing utensil for jotting down notes or observations, potions or other consumables that might aid you during the evening. I'll take some throwing daggers for self-defense, and let's see if there's any potions I can acquire. Elira nods and leads you to a small, discreet armory nearby where you can obtain some throwing daggers. The armory is stocked with a variety of weapons and equipment, and you quickly find a set of finely balanced throwing daggers. You select 3 throwing daggers and tuck them into your satchel, ensuring they're easily accessible if needed. Okay. Next, you ask Elira about potions. She leads you to a local apothecary known for its quality supplies. Inside, the shelves are lined with various potions, vials, and herbs. The apothecary, an elderly woman with sharp eyes, greets you. What can I help you with? She asks. I'll do 1, 2, and 3. I'll take one of each of those potions. The apothecary nods and begins to gather your potions for you. Good choices. Here's what you need. Okay. After a moment, she sets the potions on the counter. That'll be 50 gold pieces for the lot. You pay the apothecary and she hands you the potions, carefully wrapped to avoid any spills. With the daggers and potions secured, you feel well prepared for the banquet. With your disguise in place, throwing daggers at the ready, and potions secured, you and Elira make your way to the Grand Hall for Silverstone Manor. As you approach the grand entrance, you see guests starting to arrive, their laughter and chatter echoing in the air. The hall is beautifully adorned with banners and flowers, giving it a festive atmosphere. Dressed in an elegant but practical outfit suitable for a gathering of nobility, she wears a deep blue dress that flows gracefully to her ankles with silver embroidery along the sleeves and hem that catches the light. The dress has a fitted bodice and a slightly flared skirt, allowing her to move freely. To complement her outfit, she has a matching blue cloak that drapes elegantly over her shoulders, fastened with a silver brooch shaped like a crescent moon. Her hair is styled neatly with a few loose curls framing her face, and she wears subtle silver earrings that glimmer as she moves. Overall, Elira presents herself as both stylish and capable, making her blend in with the guests, while also signaling her own status. I'm going to compliment her on her look. You look fantastic, Elira. That deep blue dress suits you perfectly. Elira blushes slightly, a smile creeping across her face. Thank you. You look quite dashing yourself. I'm glad we're both ready for this evening. With that, you both take a moment to observe the guests as they enter the grand hall. The atmosphere is lively, filled with laughter and animated conversations. You notice a mix of nobles, merchants, and influential figures gathered, each dressed in their finest attire. As you watch, you identify a few key figures of interest. Lord Eldrin Silverstone, the host of the evening, known for his wealth and influence. He's mingling with guests, laughing heartily. Captain Thalia Greystorm, a renowned military leader, her presence commands respect. She's engaged in a discussion with a group of soldiers. Ryan the Bard, a charismatic performer, he's entertaining the small crowd with a lively tune, drawing laughter and applause. Would you do me the honor of a dance? Her eyes light up with excitement. I'd love to. She takes your hand and together you make your way to the dance floor, which is lively and guests swirling and twirling to the music played by Ryan the Bard. As you dance, you maintain a subtle awareness of your surroundings, keeping an eye on both Lord Edrin Silverstone and the mysterious figure in the shadows. What I observe. Lord Edrin Silverstone, he seems to be enjoying himself, engaging with various guests and sharing laughter. You notice that he frequently checks a pocket watch, indicating that he's waiting for something or someone. The mysterious figure, they remain in the shadows, seemingly detached from the festivities. You catch a glimpse of their hand movement as they seem to be writing something in a small notebook. Their attention shifts occasionally towards Lord Silverstone, which piques your curiosity. I'll say 1 and 2. You decide to continue dancing with Elira while keeping your observations discreet. As you twirl and move with the music, you take the opportunity to whisper to her about what you've noticed. Keep an eye on that mysterious figure in the shadows, you say softly, nodding in their direction. They seem to be watching Lord Silverstone closely. Elira glances over, her expression shifting to one of curiosity. You're right. They don't seem to fit in with the rest of the crowd. I wonder what they're writing. She leans in closer as you continue to dance, matching the rhythm of the music. I think we should be cautious, she adds. If they're observing the Lord, it might be worth investigating further. As you dance, you maintain your focus on both Lord Silverstone and the mysterious figure. The music swells around you, creating an atmosphere of joy and celebration. However, your instincts remain alert, knowing that something could be unfolding in the shadows. I want to see if she's actually going to be, helping me out, you know? I lean in closer to Elira. Are you planning on joining me in my work, Elira? I have gems to pay you if you need an incentive, but I could really use your help. Her eyes widen slightly at the mention of gems, and she nods, a mix of excitement and determination crossing her face. I'd be honored to help you. I've always wanted to dive into something a bit more adventurous. As you continue dancing, Elira adds, I have some contacts and knowledge of the noble circles that could be useful. Together we could navigate this banquet and gather valuable information. Okay. You both move gracefully with the music, maintaining an easy rapport. Elira's enthusiasm is infectious, and you feel a sense of camaraderie building between you. You notice Lord Edrin Silverstone engaging in conversation with a few guests, his demeanor still friendly but focused. He seems unaware of the mysterious figure watching him. The figure appears to be wrapping up their writing, tucking the notebook away, and looking around, possibly preparing to make a move. I'm going to say have her talk to Silverstone, and I'll talk to the figure, so... You turn to Elira, your voice steady with purpose. Elira, go talk with Lord Silverstone. I'll see if I can engage with the hooded figure. We will regroup later. Elira nods, determination in her eyes. Got it. I'll find out what I can. She gives you a quick smile before moving gracefully through the crowd toward Lord Silverstone. Because I'm thinking, he's a lord, beautiful elf. It's gonna help, pique his interest. You take a deep breath and adjust your half mask before making your way toward the mysterious figure in the shadows. As you approach, you can see them more clearly. A hooded cloak obscures most of their features, but their posture is relaxed, suggesting they're not immediately hostile. Excuse me, you say as you step closer, your voice low. I couldn't help but notice you've been observing the festivities. You have an interest in our dear Lord Silverstone? The figure turns slightly, revealing a hint of their face, a sharp jawline and piercing eyes. They don't respond immediately, but their attention is now fully on you. Press for information, ask them directly about their interest in Lord Silverstone, introduce yourself, share your name and a bit about your intentions to engage their reaction, test their intention, subtly probe if they're a friend or foe by asking about the atmosphere of the banquet. You reach into your satchel and pull out one of the pouches of gems you took from the warehouse, letting it dangle slightly in front of the hooded figure. You see these? You say with a hint of confidence. I acquired them through less conventional means. I'm a rogue with a mission to reclaim my rightful place in the Mountain Kingdom. Ah, shit! Oh no, why did I say all that? Oh no! Oh no! I didn't want to say all that. Oh shit. The hooded figure's interest peaks as their eyes narrow slightly, glinting in the dim light of the hall. A rogue, you say? They reply, their voice smooth and calculated. And what exactly does a rogue want with the nobility? You continue. I'm seeking information and connections that will help me navigate the underbelly of this realm. I could be of service to those who have similar interests. What about you? Are you an ally or merely an observer in these proceedings? The figure leans in slightly, intrigued. Perhaps a bit of both. I keep my ears to the ground and my interests hidden, but I appreciate your directness. It seems we may have some common ground. Inquire about their knowledge, propose an alliance? No. Show more gems? No. I kind of want to ask about the broker, but I want to first inquire about their knowledge. You decide to inquire about the hooded figure's knowledge of Lord Silverstone. What do you know about Lord Silverstone and his dealings? Trying to stay calm, of course. The figure pauses for a moment, assessing you before responding. Lord Silverstone is a man of many connections and secrets. He's been known to deal with various factions, both legitimate and otherwise. There are whispers of a power struggle brewing beneath the surface of his realm, especially with the return of certain exiled families. They lean in a bit closer, the voice lowering to a conspiratorial whisper. There are rumors that he is expecting something significant tonight, perhaps an alliance or an arrangement that could shift the balance of power. You can sense that the figure is willing to share more, but it may take more persuasion or a display of trust. Press more information, share your interests, show interest in their knowledge, offer the gems. Yeah, offer the gems, because that's why I got them. That's why I brought them. Because I'm assuming this is the broker. Really, if it's not obvious, I'm really assuming that this guy is going to be the broker. You decide to offer a gem as a token of trust. You reach into the pouch and pull out a sparkling gem, a deep green emerald, and hold it out toward the hooded figure. Take this as a sign of goodwill, you say. I value knowledge and trust above all, and perhaps this can help us forge a mutually beneficial relationship. The figure's eyes flicker with interest as they regard the emerald. After a moment of consideration, they reach out and take it from your hand, tucking it in their cloak. Into their cloak. Generous of you, they say, their tone shifting slightly, revealing a hint of appreciation. In return, I'll share what I know about the current dynamics at play. There are indeed forces gathering to challenge Silverstone's rule, and he's been making preparations that could bring about conflict. However, they continue, to know more about the upcoming changes, you'll need to dig deeper. If you're willing to tread into the shadows, I may be able to provide further insights, but I will require trust and discretion. Ask for specific information. Propose an informal partnership. Ask about the role. Excuse yourself. I want to get a little bit more before I talk to Elira. Right now, just propose something a little informal at the moment, because I don't think I'm going to do anything really tonight. You decide to propose an informal partnership, sensing that this figure could be a valuable ally. I think we could accomplish more together, you say. If you're willing to share what you know and assist me in gathering information, I'm ready to reciprocate. We can navigate the complexities of this gathering and uncover the truths hidden beneath the surface. The hooded figure contemplates your proposal, their expression unreadable beneath the shadow of their hood. After a moment, they nod slowly. A partnership can be advantageous. Advantageous. But understand this, trust is earned, not given freely. We will proceed with caution. I can provide insights into Silverstone's dealings and perhaps help you gain access to the circles of power, they say. In return, I'll expect you to share any information you gather about the exiled families and their movements. The balance of power in this realm is shifting, and I want to be prepared. The figure seems to be genuinely interested in forming a strategic alliance, but you sense that they may have their own agenda. I'll agree and propose a meeting point. I'm in. Let's make this work, you say, a hint of determination in your voice. What's the first thing you can tell me? The figure nods, pleased with your agreement. Good. The first piece of information you need is about the rival factions gathering power in the shadows. There are whispers of a coalition forming among the exiled families, especially the Tauren clan. They have long held claims to the throne and are rallying supporters who wish to see Silverstone removed. They glance around cautiously before continuing. Tonight there are several key players present or who may be sympathetic to their cause. If you can identify them, you may find potential allies or threats. You take a moment to suggest. We should establish a safe place to meet and exchange information moving forward. How about the old tavern on the outskirts of the city? It's less frequented by nobles and should provide some privacy. Agreed, the tavern will work. I'll meet you there in 2 nights' time. They reply, their tone firm. Bring any information you gather. We may be able to turn the tides if we act wisely. With the initial partnership set and a meeting point established, you feel a sense of direction. As the dance continues around you, Elira is likely wrapping up her conversation with Lord Silverstone. You decide to first continue observing the guests for a bit longer, keen to gather more information while the atmosphere remains lively. You take a few moments to scan the room, noting the various interactions among the attendees. Of course, there's Lord Edrin Silverstone, and he seems to be in high spirits, engaging in an animated conversation with several guests, including some you recognize as minor nobles and influential merchants. You can see that he's attempting to solidify his alliances. Hopefully Elira is still there too. Captain Thalia Greystorm. She's surrounded by soldiers discussing tactical matters and occasionally casting glances towards Silverstone as if gauging the mood of the room. And then there's Ryan the Bard. He's moved on to another song, his performance captivating the crowd, but you notice a few patrons whispering about rumors of unrest and a potential rebellion. After a brief moment, you feel that you've gathered enough insight and decide it's time to find Elira. You weave through the crowd, catching sight of Elira talking to Lord Silverstone, who appears to be gesturing animatedly. Then she notices you approaching. Her expression brightens as you reach them. Lord Silverstone bids you both farewell, promising to catch up later. Once the Lord has stepped away, Elira turns to you, curiosity gleaming in her eyes. What'd you find out? You share your recent encounter with the hooded figure, explaining that the information about the Tauren clan and the potential coalition forming against Silverstone. You also mentioned that the agreed meeting point and the old tavern, or at the old tavern. That's significant news, she says, her brow furrowing in thought. If we can leverage this information, we might be able to find allies who can help us. We should be careful about how we proceed, though. Trust is hard to come by these days. Discuss a plan, gather more information, leave the festivities, or seek out Captain Thalia. You turn to Elira, eager to hear what she discovered during her conversation with Lord Silverstone. What did you find out from Silverstone? You ask genuinely, curious about any insights she may have gathered. Elira leans in slightly, her voice low to avoid drawing attention. He seemed quite confident about his position, but there were hints of tension in his words. He mentioned plans to strengthen his alliances with several noble families, of course, particularly those who have been loyal to him in the past. He's also expecting some news tonight that could impact his standing, but he was vague about the details. She glances around, ensuring no one is eavesdropping before continuing. I also picked up on some rumors of dissent among the merchants and lower nobility. It seems they're unhappy with the way things are being run. If the Tauren clan is indeed trying to rally support, it might not take much to tip the scales. With this new information from Elira, it's clear the political landscape is shifting and both Silverstone's confidence and the unrest among his supporters could play into your plans. You turn to Elira, asking her opinion on the new insights you've both gathered. What do you think about all this? You inquire, curious about her perspective on the unfolding events. Elira takes a moment to ponder your question, her brow slightly furrowed. Honestly, it's a mix of concern and opportunity, she replies thoughtfully. Silverstone's confidence could be his downfall. If the rumors of dissent among the merchants and lower nobility are true, it suggests a fragile support base. If we could find a way to leverage that dissatisfaction, it could open doors for us. However, I'm wary of the Tauren clan and the potential chaos they could bring. Aligning with them might give us allies, but it could also put us in the crosshairs of Silverstone's wrath. We'll need to tread carefully. Her determination. There's a chance for us to make a real impact, she concludes, her eyes gleaming with resolve. If we can navigate these politics wisely, we might not only help our own goals, but also bring about some positive change in the kingdom. I just hope we can find trustworthy allies along the way. With Elira's thoughts in mind, you could feel the weight of the decisions ahead, knowing that each choice could steer the course of your mission. Let's do 1 and 2. You decide to develop a plan while also scouting for potential allies among the guests of the banquet. Let's brainstorm some specific steps we can take to capitalize on the situation, you say to Elira, and while we're at it, we should keep an eye out for anyone who might be sympathetic to our cause. Elira nods in agreement. Here are some ideas to consider. We identify more key nobles, besides, Silverstone. Gather intel on the Tauren clan itself. We should find out more about the Tauren clan and their supporters. If we can learn who their key allies are, we might be able to approach them directly or even disrupt their plans. There's a network with the dissatisfied merchants, engage in conversations with the merchants who seem unhappy. If they are willing to speak against Silverstone, they could be potential allies in rallying support for rebellion or a shift in power. Or we can just prepare for the meeting. We gather information, we plan what to ask the hooded figure in a meeting. We should also decide how to approach the subject of the Tauren clan and the potential alliances. As you discuss the plan, you start scanning the room for anyone who might be a suitable ally. I'm gonna talk to the merchants because that came up the most, was about the merchants. Well, let's talk to the nobles. You decide to approach the group of lesser nobles gathered in the corner, sensing that they might have valuable insights regarding their discontent with Lord Silverstone. As you and Elira make your way over, you maintain a friendly and approachable demeanor. You introduce yourself with a polite nod. Good evening, my lords and ladies. Well, I couldn't help but overhear a conversation. Seems there's quite a lot on your minds tonight. Is everything all right? The nobles look at each other warily, clearly surprised by your approach. One of them, a young noblewoman with sharp features and piercing blue eyes, responds cautiously. It's not a matter of concern for someone like you. We're merely discussing the state of the kingdom. Another nobleman, slightly older with a grizzled beard, adds, a state of affairs that seems to be growing worse under Silverstone's rule. We've had enough of his empty promises. This could be a chance to learn more about their grievances and perhaps sway them to your side. Encourage them to speak freely, offer your support, inquire about their connections, or shift the topic. Do you think you could gather some information from Captain Thalia Greystorm while I talk to these nobles about their grievances? It's funny, it's just because that's how I said it in my head, and so reading it out loud is just silly. She seems to have a good grasp of the current military dynamics, and her insights could be invaluable. Elira nods, her expression determined. That's a good idea. Thalia may have some useful intel about the military stance and any movements among the guards. I'll approach her and see what I can learn. With a plan in place, you both agree to split your efforts. Elira moves towards Captain Thalia, while you turn your attention back to the group of lesser nobles. You focus on the young noblewoman and the older noblemen. I'd love to hear more about your concerns regarding Lord Silverstone. What specifically has led you to feel this way? The young noblewoman sighs, visibly frustrated. He talks of unity and strength, yet he fails to listen to our needs. The merchants are struggling, and the common folk grow restless. Silverstone's policies only serve to line his own pockets and those of his closest allies. The older nobleman nods in agreement. And what of the recent taxes? They're crushing us. We're expected to support a lavish lifestyle while our lands suffer? This conversation provides a great opportunity for you to learn more about the specific concerns and possibly even sway them to support your plans. Ask for specific examples, press for specific policies or incidents that have affected them negatively, offer your aid, gauge their willingness, inquire about alliances, actually know and incorporate into their statement. 1 and 4. You lean in slightly, your tone sincere. I'd like to understand better. Can you share specific policies or instances that have been particularly damaging to your families or the people you represent? The young noblewoman glances at the older nobleman, then back to you. There are several instances, but one stands out. A few months ago, Silverstone imposed a new tax on grain. The farmers can barely keep their heads above water, and now they're being forced to pay more. It's led to shortages, and I fear there will be unrest if things continue this way. The older nobleman adds, and it's not just the grain tax, he's also cut funding for local defenses, leaving us vulnerable to bandit attacks, which hopefully the captain knows about too. Our lands are rich, and Silverstone's neglect is putting us at risk. I'll shift the conversation following up with, are there groups or individuals you know of who share your sentiments? Anyone who might be willing to join forces to address their grievances? The young noblewoman nods thoughtfully. There are whispers of a coalition forming among some of the lesser houses and merchants. A few of them are frustrated with Silverstone's rule and have begun discussing alternatives. However, they're cautious. Many fear retribution if they speak out too openly. The older nobleman adds, if we could gather enough support, we might be able to pressure Silverstone into making changes, or at least gain a voice in his council. But we need someone brave enough to take the lead. With this information, you see an opportunity to rally support and perhaps take the first steps towards addressing the noble's concern. Let's do 1 and 3. You decide to propose organizing a meeting for the disgruntled nobles and merchants while also sharing your own plans regarding the Torn clan and how they align with their desires for change. You lean in closer, your voice earnest. I believe it's crucial that we organize a meeting of those who share your frustrations, both nobles and merchants. If we can gather a group, we can discuss our grievances and explore ways to push for the changes we need. The young noblewoman looks intrigued. That sounds promising. If we can unite our voices, we might actually get Silverstone's attention. The other nobleman nods in agreement. Count me in. We need to make our discontent known. If others feel the same way, we could really make a difference. You take a deep breath, deciding to reveal more of your intentions. In addition to this, I've recently come across some information regarding the Tauren clan. They're seeking to rally support against Silverstone's rule, and I believe they may be a key ally in our efforts to bring about change. Their goals align with ours, and if we could forge an alliance with them, we could strengthen our position considerably. The young noblewoman's eyes widen with interest. The Tauren clan? I've heard whispers about them. If they're willing to stand against Silverstone, that could be the leverage we need. The older nobleman adds, we must be cautious though. Aligning with them could attract unwanted attention, but if they are as strong as you say, it might be worth the risk. With the nobles intrigued by the idea of a meeting and the potential alliance with the Tauren clan, you sense momentum building. Let's... Oh my god, so much stuff. Oh. You turn back to the lesser nobles, your excitement palpable. Let's discuss potential dates and locations for our meeting. We want to ensure that those who are interested can attend without drawing too much attention to ourselves. The young noblewoman nods, her expression serious. How about we aim for 2 nights from now? That gives us time to reach out to others discreetly. The older nobleman adds, as for location, perhaps the old ruins outside the city? It's remote enough to avoid prying eyes, and we can use the cover of night. You agree with her suggestions, and the 3 of you quickly outline a plan for sending discreet invitations to others who might be sympathetic to your cause. As the conversation wraps up, you spot Elira nearby speaking with Captain Greystorm. You give her a subtle nod and motion her to join you for a dance. Elira smiles, gracefully making her way over as you take her hand and lead her to the dance floor. Once you begin dancing, you lean in close to speak privately. What did you discover from Captain Greystorm? You ask, keeping your voice low amid the music and laughter surrounding you. What's also funny is I'm imagining a dwarf dancing with a half-elf. It's really funny, there's like this idea of just like this woman dancing, looking down and dancing, but I can't imagine I'm that short, but I'm definitely like shorter. And so it's just kind of like this funny dynamic, but I digress. Elira looks pleased as she responds. Thalia was quite open, surprisingly. She mentioned that the guard has been receiving reports of increased bandit activity in the area, and some nobles have been whispering about forming their own private militias to protect their interests. She also hinted that if Silverstone's influence is waning among the guards, there are murmurs of dissent even within their ranks. She glances around to ensure no one is listening before continuing. Thalia seems wary of getting involved in politics, but might be persuaded if she sees a strong movement forming. She's also mentioned that the Tauren clan's actions have not gone unnoticed by the guard. They're seen as potential threats to Silverstone's rule. Perfect. So I have some ideas of what to do next. I think we'll tell her to either come to the meeting with all the other merchants and whatnot, or the noble people, or send a representative of the guard to come out and meet us at the ruins, because then after that we'll meet with probably the broker, whoever that shadow figure it is. Let's continue dancing. I want to get more of her, what she's thinking, but I have a plan. As you twirl around the dance floor, you lean in closer to Elira. Your voice is mingling with the music and laughter around you. This is nice, isn't it? You say, keeping the mood light, but we should also keep our plans in mind. Elira smiles, her eyes sparkling. It is nice. It's easy to forget the chaos outside when we're surrounded by all this. But she replies, but we can't lose sight of our goals. Alright. Take a moment to enjoy the rhythm of the dance before steering the conversation back to your plans. With the information you've gathered from Thalia and what we've learned from the nobles, what do you think our next steps should be? Elira thinks for a moment, her expression serious. I believe we should solidify our connections first. The meeting we're planning with the nobles could serve as a launching point for gathering allies. If we can draw in some of Thalia's guard contacts, we could strengthen our position. Plus, the more we can involve the Tauren clan, the better. You nod, appreciating her perspective, and if we can leverage the discontent among the guards, it might shift the balance of power in our favor. As the music begins to fade, you sense that it's time to transition back to your plans. Before we separate, can you let Captain Thalia know about the meeting we're organizing at the ruins? It's important she's aware of the timing and location, especially if she wants to support us. Elira nods, a determined look in her eyes. Absolutely. I'll make sure she knows. With that, she gracefully slips away to find Captain Greystorm, leaving you to approach the lesser nobles once more. You walk back to the group of lesser nobles, who are all still discussing the evening's festivities. You catch the attention of the young noblewoman and the older nobleman. May I have a moment of your time? You ask, drawing them away from the chatter. Once you have their attention, you continue. I spoke with Captain Thalia Greystorm during the dance, and she revealed some interesting insights. You recount what Elira had shared with you, the increased bandit activity, the murmurs of dissent within the Guard, and Thalia's wariness about getting involved in politics. She hinted that there may be support for a movement against Lord Silverstone among the Guards, if we can present a united front. The older nobleman raises an eyebrow, intrigued. That's promising news. If we can gather support from both the Guard and the nobles, we might just stand a chance, but we'll need to be strategic about it. The young noblewoman nods in agreement. If we can unite our voices and get the Guards on our side, it could create the leverage we need. When is this meeting you're planning? Great. So we'll meet at the ruins 2 nights from now. It's essential that we gather as many like-minded individuals as possible. You say, looking each of them in the eye to emphasize the importance. I suggest you both start reaching out to anyone you think might be sympathetic to our cause. The more voices we have, the stronger our position will be. The young noblewoman nods enthusiastically. I'll speak to some of my contacts among the merchants. If they see that we're serious, I'm sure they'll want to join. The older nobleman adds, I have a few allies in other noble houses who may be interested. I'll approach them discreetly and gauge their sentiments. With the meeting confirmed and the nobles motivated to gather support, you sense the momentum is building. Your enthusiasm is contagious and you feel more confident about the upcoming meeting. Just then, Elira returns from speaking with Captain Greystorm, her expression focused. I informed Thalia about our plans for the meeting. She expressed interest in attending, but she needs to ensure her involvement doesn't put her in direct conflict with Silverstone. You have successfully set the stage for your plans, but there's still much to be done to ensure everything goes smoothly. Because again, I'm trying to be nice, hospitable, make a connection with this lady. The deeper the bond, maybe more can come out of it. More willingness to attend or help what I need. You laid Elira to the refreshment table, grabbing 2 glasses of wine. The rich aroma fills your senses as you pour the deep red liquid into the glasses. Then take a moment to find a quieter corner where you can discuss Thalia's concerns without interruption. As you both take a sip, you turn to Elira. I'm glad you spoke to Thalia, but we need to consider her concerns seriously. If her position within the Guard is threatened, it could jeopardize our plans. Elira nods, her brow furrowed in thought. I agree. Thalia is cautious, and for good reason. Silverstone has a reputation for dealing harshly with those who oppose him. If we want her support, we'll need to ensure that our movement is more about reform than outright rebellion, at least for now. You contemplate her words. Perhaps we can frame our movement as a call for better governance and accountability. That way, it seems less like a threat and more like a necessary change for the kingdom. Elira raises her glass in agreement. That sounds wise. We can emphasize that our goal is to protect the people, not just oust Silverstone. If we can present a united front with the nobles and Thalia's backing, it might make it easier for her to join us without risking her position. With your glasses raised, you toast to the idea of building a stronger coalition. The atmosphere feels charged with potential, and you sense that your plans are starting to take shape. 1 and 4. As you and Elira sip your wine, you begin to discuss the key points that should be included in your message for the meeting at the ruins. Unity and common goals. Emphasize that the purpose of the meeting is to unite the nobles and merchants for a common cause, better governance and accountability from Lord Silverstone. Addressing grievances. Acknowledge that the specific grievances of the nobles and merchants, highlighting the issues they face under Silverstone's rule. This could include tax increases, the favoritism, and the lack of protection from the banditry. Yeah, I said that right. Encouraging collaboration between nobles, merchants, and the guards, framing it as a necessary alliance for a greater good of the kingdom. And lastly, a call for action. Conclude with a call to action that invites everyone to participate in the movement, assuring them that their voices will be heard and respected. With the outline forming in your mind, you decide to take a break from planning. You and Elira return to the dance floor where couples twirl and laugh, the music filling the air with a lively rhythm. You allow yourself to be swept up in the moment, enjoying the vibrant atmosphere. You share a few laughs and lighthearted conversations with fellow guests, feeling the tension of your plans fade away, if only for a moment. After a while, you notice the festivities winding down, and the atmosphere begins to shift as some guests start leaving. It's clear that the time for planning is approaching once again. Analyze the message and try to steal a barrel of wine for me and Elira to share later. Okay. Plotting the heist. Okay. You decide to focus on finalizing the message for the meeting while also plotting a little heist to secure some wine for you and Elira to enjoy later. You and Elira step aside from the dance floor to a quieter corner. More so on the message. Unity and common goals. We need to stress that we're not just a group of disgruntled nobles. We are here to unite for a common cause that benefits all, both the nobles and the common folk. Further addressing the grievances, Elira adds, we specify grievances like the rising taxes and lack of protection against banditry. It will definitely resonate with those attending, encouraging the collaboration and for the call of action. Again, what we have talked about already. Now, with the message finalized, you turn your attention to securing some wine. You notice a few barrels of wine behind the refreshment table, partially obscured from view. You decide to sneak over and attempt to grab a barrel without attracting attention. Go ahead and roll for stealth. Alright, haven't had stealth in a while. And it's pretty great, because it's +8. Please be good. That is... Oh no, it's a natural 1. Oh no, it's a natural 1. Oh no. What's gonna happen? You creep towards the barrels, trying to stay low and out of sight. However, as you make your approach, your foot catches on a loose floor tile and you stumble, letting out a loud clatter as you nearly topple over. The noise draws attention of nearby guests, including a couple of guards stationed near the refreshment table. They turn their heads sharply in your direction, eyebrows raised in suspicion. What's going on here? One of the guard calls out, striding toward you. The air thickens with tension as you realize you've been caught. Let's see. Attempt to charm your way out of the situation by making a joke or pretending you were just admiring the wine. I'm going to confront them and try to, say like, oh, I'm supposed to be grabbing this. You decide to stand your ground and confront the guards, hoping to turn the situation to your advantage. With a confident demeanor, you straighten up and flash a charming smile. Ah, good sirs, I was merely inspecting the fine quality of your wine selection. I've heard marvelous things about the vineyards from which these barrels hail. The guards exchange wary glances but seem intrigued by your approach. Inspecting, eh? I don't see many guests getting this close to the stock, one of them replies, his tone skeptical but not unfriendly. Seizing the opportunity, you continue. I'm a connoisseur of fine wines, you see. It would be a shame not to appreciate the best of this kingdom has to offer. Perhaps you can indulge me with a taste? You gesture to the barrels, trying to appear earnest. The guards consider your words, and one of them chuckles slightly. You're bold, I'll give you that, but I think you'll find the wine is best enjoyed in moderation, especially for someone of your stature. Oh, fuck. He called me short. What an asshole. You take a step closer, lowering your voice. In fact, I have a proposition for you both. I've been working on some plans to improve our fair kingdom, and would help if I could secure some of this wine for my discussions. Could make it worth your while. The guards exchange another glance, their interest piqued. What kind of plans are you talking about? Let's see. I'll say, tell them about a meeting potentially wait, no, if I give too much away, then they might... Okay, I got an idea. So I say, if you truly care for the kingdom, you want to speak with Captain Thalia about what's happening in the ruins in the coming days. There's much at stake, and I believe it could be beneficial for you to be informed. Then, you reach into your pouch and pull out a couple of shimmering gemstones. As a token of goodwill, and to apologize for any offense caused by my earlier comment. Whoops. I guess that sentence didn't make sense. I'd like to offer each of you a gemstone if you can help me with a couple of barrels of wine. The guards exchange looks, clearly weighing their options. The skeptical guard raises an eyebrow. You're quite the negotiator, aren't you? 2 barrels, eh? For a few gems? What's in it for you? You nod toward the barrels. Just a little something to help me in my discussions. It's always better to have good wine on hand for important conversations, don't you agree? The guards mull over your offer, their expressions shifting as they consider the prospect of gaining some valuable gems in exchange for a couple barrels of wine. Finally, the skeptical guard shrugs and grins. All right, you got yourself a deal. Just remember, discretion is key here. The other guard chuckles, accepting this gemstone from your hand. We'll make sure the barrels are out of sight. You enjoy your wine, and maybe we'll have more conversations about these ruins in the future. With their agreement, the guards lead you to the barrels and help you secure them, making sure no one else sees what's happening. They manage to roll out 2 barrels, and you feel a sense of victory as you thank them and keep the gems close. With your barrels of wine secured, you and Elira can enjoy some downtime or focus on further preparations for the meeting with the nobles and Captain Thalia. You decide to leave the festivities with Elira, planning to enjoy the evening by the docks with your newly acquired barrels of wine. You quietly navigate through the crowd, making your way toward a side exit, the barrels rolling smoothly behind you. As you exit the main hall, the sounds of laughter and music fade into the background, replaced by the gentle lapping of water against the docks. Before heading to the docks, you spot a small table near the exit where leftover drinks are being cleared away. You quickly grab 2 elegant glasses that are being set aside, ensuring that you will have something nice to drink from. Once you reach the docks, the moonlight reflects off the water, creating a serene and intimate atmosphere. You set the barrels down on the wooden planks and take a moment to breathe in the cool night air. Elira looks around, taking in the surroundings. This is a lovely spot, much quieter than the party. I'm glad we decided to come here. You pop open one of the barrels, the rich scent of wine wafting up as you pour it into the glasses. That first sip is smooth and delightful, a perfect reward after your earlier efforts. As you both sit on the dock, sipping your wine, the conversation flows easily. You talk about the day's events, share stories, and let the tension of the earlier planning dissipate. The atmosphere is relaxed, filled with laughter, and the sound of waves gently crashing against the docks. I'll say share personal stories. As you both sit on the dock, the gentle sound of water lapping against the wood creates a calming backdrop. You look over at Elira, a warm smile on your face. You know it's nice to take a break from all the planning and just enjoy the moment. I'd love to hear more about your story. What led you to this path? Elira takes a sip of her wine, considering your question. Well, I grew up in a small village, not far from here. My family was always struggling to make ends meet, and I learned early on that I had to fend for myself. I started out as a pickpocket, but it didn't take long for me to realize that I wanted to use my skills for something greater. She looks out at the water, her expression thoughtful. Became a rogue not just for survival, but because I wanted to fight against those who exploited others. I've seen too many good people suffer at the hands of the corrupt. That's why I'm drawn to your cause. It feels like a chance to make a real difference. Elira turns her gaze back to you, her eyes curious. What about you? What drives you to reclaim your place in the Mountain Kingdom? I know your family has faced hardships, but what does it mean for you to fight back? Take a moment to reflect on her question, your mind swirling with thoughts of your past, your parents, and your goals. I'll say 1 and 3. Oh, I said 1 and 2. Oops. Oh well. My story is a painful one. You begin, your voice steady but filled with emotion. I was born into a noble family in the Mountain Kingdom, a family that once held great respect. But everything changed when my parents were murdered by my aunt and uncle. They wanted power, and my parents stood in their way. After they killed them, I became an outcast, forced to live in the shadows. You pause. Glancing at Elira, you gauge her reaction. She listens intently, her expression sympathetic. I took up the mantle of a rogue not just to survive, but to learn the secrets of the underworld. I wanted to understand the people who took everything from me and find a way to avenge my parents' death. Reclaiming my rightful place on the throne isn't just about revenge, it's about bringing justice to the kingdom and helping those who've suffered under the corrupt rulers. I want to restore what was lost, to create a realm where everyone is treated fairly and where power isn't wielded for selfish gain. My parents believed in justice, and I intend to honor their memory by fighting for the people. Elira nods, her eyes reflecting a deep understanding. It's a powerful motivation, and it's clear how much your past drives you. I admire your strength and determination. Together, we can make a real impact. You both sit in contemplative silence. For a moment, the gentle breeze of night wrapping around you. The bond between you strengthens as you share these valuable truths. I'll say, enjoy the wine. I want to see if she's with anybody. Ask if Elira has a lover or a past lover she close with. Take a moment to enjoy the wine, savoring its rich flavor as you relax into the evening atmosphere. The sound of water lapping on the docks and the distant twinkling of stars overhead create a peaceful backdrop. As you sip your wine, you glance over at Elira, who seems to be lost in thought, a small smile playing on her lips. This is nice, you say, raising your glass slightly. A perfect way to unwind after all the chaos of the night. Elira nods, taking a sip herself. It really is. It's good to have a moment like this, especially with everything. Curiosity piqued. You decide to delve a bit deeper into her personal life. By the way, do you have a lover perhaps, or a past lover who you're close with? I'd love to hear about it, if you're comfortable sharing. Elira looks a bit surprised by the question, her expression shifting to one of contemplation. After a moment, she replies, "Well, I did have a close friend back in my village. A boy named Ryan." "What?" "We were inseparable growing up, and there was something special between us. But when I decided to leave and pursue this path, we lost touch. It was hard for me to let go, but I knew I had to follow my own path." She takes another sip of wine, her gaze thoughtful. "I haven't really allowed myself to get close to anyone since then. It feels safer that way, especially for our line of work." You sense the bittersweet nature of her memories and feel a pang of empathy. That must have been difficult. It's hard to balance personal connections with the dangers we face. You look at Elira thoughtfully, piecing together the clues. Is this Ryan the same bard who was playing at the party earlier? The one with the captivating voice? Elira's eyes widen slightly, a hint of surprise flickering across her face. "Yes, that's him. That's the same one. I didn't realize you noticed him. He's always had a way with music that draws people in." You take a sip of wine, contemplating. If you two were close, why didn't you wish to talk to him? It seemed like a perfect opportunity to reconnect. Elira's expression shifts to one of nostalgia mixed with apprehension. It's complicated. When I left my village, I was determined to make a name for myself and pursue my own goals. I thought it would be easier to sever ties and move on. See him again brought back those memories I wasn't sure I was ready to face. I didn't want to complicate things by rekindling something that could pull me back into my past. She pauses, her gaze shifting to the water as if lost in thought. And honestly, the life I lead now is dangerous. I worry about dragging someone like Ryan into this world. He deserves a life free of the shadows I navigate. You nod, understanding the complexity of her feelings. That makes sense. It's hard to balance personal connections with the dangers we face, especially when we're trying to forge our own paths. I'm really trying to date this woman. You take another sip of wine, feeling the weight of your words as you share your thoughts with Elira. I think we are ever to form relationships, especially romantic ones. It should be with people we know we can trust in our line of work. It's essential to have partners who share our desires and possess the skills to help make those dreams a reality. Elira nods, her expression thoughtful as she considers your words. You're right. In this life, trust is everything. We face many dangers, and having someone by our side who understands our goals and can support us is crucial. She pauses for a moment, her gaze meeting yours. Sir, I appreciate you having you as a partner in all of this. I feel like we have a shared vision, and it makes it easier to navigate the challenges ahead. Your words seem to resonate with her, strengthening the bond between you. The conversation shifts, becoming less about the past and more about your shared goals for the future. Trust is a rare commodity in our world, especially in the underbelly of society, you continue. But if we can cultivate relationships based on mutual respect and shared ambitions, we can build something stronger than just alliances. We can create a network of support. Elira smiles, her eyes reflecting a mix of admiration and camaraderie. I like the way you think. It gives me hope that we can achieve our goals while forming meaningful connections. And it's important not just to survive, but to thrive together. I'll say a toast and share more personal thoughts. Smile at Elira, feeling the warmth of your connection. Let's raise a toast to trust and partnership. Here's to building relationships that can withstand the challenges ahead. You lift your glass and Elira follows suit. To trust, you say, to shared goals and to forging a future where we can thrive together. Elira clinks her glass against yours, a glimmer of excitement in her eyes. To trust and partnership, she echoes, and you both take a hearty sip of the wine, savoring the moment. As you set your glasses down, you feel inspired to share more about what you desire in a relationship moving forward. You know, I've spent so much time focused on vengeance and reclaiming my throne that I haven't really thought about what I want in a relationship. I want someone I can rely on, someone who understands my past but is also excited about the future we can create together. You glance at Elira, gauging her reaction. I want to find someone who can stand by my side through thick and thin, who shares not just my ambitions but also my values. Trust and mutual respect are so important to me. Elira nods, her expression serious yet warm. I feel the same way. After everything I've been through, I want someone who sees me for who I am, not just as a rogue or a tool for their plans. I want a partner who can share the joy of our victories and comfort us in our defeats. There's a moment of shared understanding, a silent agreement that you both seek the same qualities in a relationship. I'm gonna say, let's take this somewhere else. Elira smiles warmly, a hint of appreciation in her eyes. I'd like that. It's always nice to have company on the way home, especially after a long night. As you both rise from your spot on the docks, you gather the empty wine glasses and set them aside. The moonlight casts a silver glow over the path as you begin walking side by side, the sounds of the night surrounding you. The streets are quieter now, and the stars twinkle above, adding to the serene atmosphere. As you walk, you share a light conversation about your plans for the next day, discussing how you'll approach the nobles and the meeting at the ruins. Soon you arrive at Elira's modest home, the warmth of a lantern flickering in the window. She turns to you, a grateful smile on her face. Thank you for tonight. I really enjoyed our conversation, and I feel like we've grown closer. Oh, I could ask for a kiss? Let's go! Let's meet again tomorrow afternoon at the Whispering Willow. I'd love to continue our conversation and discuss our plans in more detail. Elira nods, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. That sounds perfect. I'll see you there. As the moment lingers, you take a step closer, feeling a connection that's deeper than before. Before you go, may I? You ask, softly leaning in. Elira tilts her head, a small smile spreading across her face. As she closes the distance, you share a gentle kiss, a soft brush of lips that conveys warmth and promise. It feels sweet and right, a perfect way to end the evening. As you pull away, she looks into your eyes, a blend of happiness and hope reflected in her gaze. Good night, she says, her voice warm. I'll see you tomorrow. Departure. With one last smile, you bid her farewell and head back through the quiet streets, the memory of the evening lingering in your mind. The kiss feels like a new beginning, an exciting chapter in your journey. Say to and head towards and in to sleep. As you walk away from Elira's home, a warm feeling settles in your chest, and you can't help but reflect on the evening you just shared. The kiss, the conversations, and the bond you're starting to build with her all swirling your mind, filling you with a sense of hope and excitement for what's to come. You think about the trust you're cultivating with Elira and how valuable it is in your line of work. It's rare to find someone who not only shares your ambitions but also understands the risks involved. The thought of tomorrow and your plans at the Whispering Willow makes you smile. You make your way through the quiet streets, heading towards a nearby inn where you can rest for the night. The Inn of the Wandering Star is a cozy place with warm lantern light spilling from its windows, a welcoming sight after the evening's events. As you enter, the soft chatter of patrons fills the air and the smell of hearty food wafts from the kitchen. You approach the innkeeper, pay for a room for the night, and receive a key. Once you're in your room, you take a moment to gather your thoughts before settling into bed. The night feels peaceful, and as you lie down, you can still feel the lingering warmth of Elira's kiss. Close your eyes, letting the exhaustion of the day wash over you. Tomorrow promises new challenges and opportunities, and you're ready to face whatever comes next with Elira by your side. And that's where we'll end it. So we're going to take a pause. I think it's really cool that this is a thing and this is something I'm able to do and make content out of. So I appreciate it. But other than that, if anyone was here just listening in quietly or just poking their head in every once in a while, thanks for stopping by. Hope you all have a good rest of your night, and I'll see you when I next stream. Bye.